People, what's going on? It's yours truly here on Tuesday the 21st. I'm about to turn the radio off because the radio and the nature of mainstream media is absolutely insane to me. The things that are accepted, the way that the world is going is insane to me. You know, it is. I'm going to talk about music, but I always want to just come in on the real tip from my perspective, which is insane times. The sense of what makes sense seems to be slipping away daily when I look at events around the world, not just through the lens of the media, okay, but on my own street and in my own town and in encounters and the vibrations and the stress level between people. It's insane times, people. Something nice happened yesterday with my video. A couple of folks got into a discussion based on something said in the video, and it went civilly. This is fantastic. This is so unusual here on the internet, where people just snipe and bitch and talk to each other in really uncivil ways, just showing their lowest nature. So I want to applaud the two folks who spoke yesterday and clarified their thoughts to each other after my video. That's wonderful. I don't see enough of that on the internet. Just a lot of, like I said, I'll just repeat myself. So civility, friendliness, compassion, taking the time to try to understand. I want to promote that. And it was really good to see. So I want to show you some records that are sitting here because, I've been putting them away. I've put away a ton of records that I could have shown you, and I just decided I can't let that rule me, or else I'll be crazy because I don't always want to make a video. So what have I been listening to? Right away, a shout out to Chris Cole, who may watch this. Years ago, he gave me this album, Iconoclasta Reminiscencias, Mexican progressive rock. When I first got it, I loved it because I wanted it, but, I was still in the mindset, I was in a mindset that has broadened, okay? And what I mean by that is that this is one of those albums where their ideas exceed their abilities. So some of the musicianship is suspect, which in the past has always bothered me, and I notice it still now. So there are places where the beat drops, where it's a little sloppy, but the ideas are wonderful and very fitting for this wild cover. Reminiscencias, Iconoclasta. Love that. Love it. Love the cover too. Pull this. I just love Faust. Everyone has opinions. I showed this on Facebook. The Krautrock group on Facebook, I think I'm about to leave it. It's just full of people who are just, in my opinion, just, really holding their anuses too tight about what's Krautrock and what's not Krautrock. So here I post an album by Faust, Ravi Vando, that is in a later period of Faust, but it's still Faust. And there's there's good comments and there's a snipey comment. And it's like, one more, I'm going to give it one more time. And if this ridiculous attitude about, well, if it doesn't happen between a certain time period, even though it's by the bands themselves, I'm out of there. That's just really childish, in my opinion. This is fantastic. This is pure Faust. It's not easy listening Faust, which was the snipey comment. Easy listening my ass. People, my goodness, people, what is wrong? Well, I know what's wrong, Can't smell your own stinking asses, people. I can smell mine. That's why I take responsibility for when I'm cool and when I'm not being cool. So, as I said, Record Store Day, I was a broke dog and got nothing related to Record Store Day. Artist Tim Guthrie, friend of mine, came through for me. He put it in the guise of a thank you for working with his students. He bought me Eno's My Squelchy Life. This is an album that got shelved, and he put out NerveNet instead. Some of this came out on NerveNet and in some other ways. I collect Eno. It's not like this is like, oh, this is fantastic. It's the best thing you ever heard. I like the way Eno operates. I like the way he thinks. And he's someone that I've been following since I first encountered him in Roxy Music. And I like collecting him. So thank you, Tim Guthrie, if you see this, for allowing me to add this to my Eno collection. I do enjoy it. I played the whole album. I did hear where Eno probably had second thoughts about releasing this, because there's a point here on side C where it's like, well, this has really lost it. This is not very stimulating. And there's a piano piece, so it's like, this sucks on here to my ears. It's like I can see where Eno. It's like I went ahead and did it, but it's like, nah, this is like, maybe listen to it once or twice and I'm done with it. Thank you again, Tim. Pull this because I just love Seal, and every now and then I get into a mood to hear his voice. Killer dance remixes. Once again, when Seal first hit the scene over in Europe in particular, I was very enthused about seeing this star-faced, very dark man breaking through. Very happy for Seal. I love him. My meeting that I told you about with Carol Rogers, who I don't have any Sergio Mendes albums to show you. They're in the closet, but one of my favorite Brazilian albums, Brazilian Serenata by Dori Caymmi. Carol is one of the backup singers on here, and I love the timbre of her voice because I can actually tell that Carol's in the background. I can actually hear her timbre. Our meeting went well. We're going to collaborate. I sent her. We're going to work on my music. She's going to write lyrics and interpret my music vocally. I'm just stunned. This woman's worked with Stevie Wonder, Gilberto Gil, Caetano Veloso, Sergio Mendes for 25 years. She's a monster musician. And it just humbles me and really encourages me that she wants to work with me, really likes my music. So we had a great meeting yesterday, and looking to put together our first show for sometime in July. With that in mind, I had pulled this to listen to, Dorival, the music of Dorival Caymmi. He is the father of this man, Dori Caymmi. This is his father, Dorival. And people that know about Brazilian music, Nilio, if you happen to see this, I wish you would make a video and tell us more about the history. This music, several people are on this album, Chico Buarque, and other folks interpreting Dorival's music. Quarteto MC is on here, Maria Bethânia, that's Caetano Veloso's sister. I love this music, and to be working with someone, Carol Rogers in particular, who, has, she knows this music now, knows Portuguese. It's part of her life. I'm honored beyond words, honored beyond words. Gila, German band that is associated with krautrock. This is an unofficial release by BB Records, Gila live in Cologne, 1972 or 3. It's this is good. I like it, actually. I was posted it, and then there was some discussion about, well, they've got better stuff, but it's not out, and so how would I know? I've never heard it. It's the live stuff's not out. So sometimes, I try not to be too pretentious. I'm human, so it happens. But it's because of that I recognize and notice how record collectors can really be pretentious sometimes, the way they talk, unaware, some of that. I'm commenting because it's something that I'm aware of, and I want to reduce it, I want to be real, and I don't want to be an asshole. Can't help but being one by living, but through a little conscious effort we can reduce it, how much our assholiness affects others. Record collectors can be very childish and immature. T2, 1970, unreleased demos. This is a bootleg release of it on Acme Records on blue vinyl. You know, colored vinyl is no big deal anymore, like it really ever was, because they were releasing records right away on different colored vinyls. But still, every now and then I show it. Good stuff. Still would like to have their first album, It'll All Work Out in Boomland, which I used to have on an 8-track tape. I actually might still have the 8-track tape, but it would be in the garage and likely it's ruined by now. Played some Cat Stevens. I didn't play this, Mona Bone Jack, and I'm showing it because Peter Gabriel plays flute on this. But I played Foreigner Suite all the way through. This is great. This is progressive rock. The Foreigner Suite is an example of progressive rock. It is. It's great. It's really good. Foreigner by Cat Stevens. Excellent album. Another complete different 180 degree or whatever, Throbbing Gristle, 20 Jazz Funk Greats. Picture taken on Beachy Head, I believe is the name of the hill, famous popular suicide spot in England. There's another picture of the band here on this spot with a dead body or someone made up to look like a dead body. This is really aged well. The opening track, which is a kind of a proto-electro-funk, they're kind of poking fun at it, actually predicts the sound of electronic music. A lot of popular electronic music. But then they slide right back down into the industrial goo afterwards. And this is just fantastic. Uneasy listening. This is an original copy. I've still got the poster inside. Actually, matter of fact, a friend, we used to have a fanzine called No Commercial Potential, and we had a music listening group called the Alternate Music Society. And we did a run of t-shirts, and we made a t-shirt, a Throbbing Gristle t-shirt with this on it, which I still have. And we also made a Helden t-shirt, which I still have. It just popped in my head. And a Karma reissue of this album, Still Life, one of my favorite album covers, Still Life. The juxtaposition of the flowers and then the skull. And this is a English keyboard-based progressive rock sound, or somewhere between Procol Harum, Spooky Tooth, some occult references in the words. I love this album actually. Still Life. You know, originals of this are on Vertigo, and they go from $500 up. So, finally bit the bullet a few years ago and bought the Karma reissue, Still Life. Popol Vuh, German spiritual band. Aguirre, the soundtrack for that film by Wim Wenders, I believe. This is just really special music. It's just like music from. It sounds like music coming from the top of a mountain in the clouds. It's just amazingly spiritual, wonderful. This is an Italian reissue, 80s reissue. English horn rock band If was being discussed online, so I pulled it. This is their first album released in America on Capitol. I'd love to have a Pink Island copy from UK. Soul, rock, blues thrown together. Their first couple albums are the best ones, I say. If, and I love that design too. I love that simple, I love that. Him. People that it went on to start the band Tortoise. Bundy, what's his name? Guy has an interesting name. Bundy K. Brown behind this project, Him. And these are remixes by Japanese artists. This is excellent. I particularly like the Takamura and Susumu Yokota remixes on here. Him. If you like Tortoise, well, I just mentioned. Canterbury comes up, Gilgamesh. I played this. I've had this since it came out. Pretty collectible now. Alan Gowan, keyboardist who passed away from cancer, I think. Instrumental, very jazz inflected, wonderful. Gilgamesh. More on the Canterbury tip. Steve Hillage, Aura. I hadn't played this forever because I don't generally like the Steve Hillage solo albums. I have them, but I don't play them because I don't like them that much. But this one, they played the glorious Ohm riff. And that's cool to me. Now, Talking to the Sun, I haven't really listened to that. I didn't play that side yet. So I think I'll play that today. But this was a pleasant listening experience after thinking, I don't like Steve Hillage solo albums that much, except for the, like the Solar Dome Magic, the ambient stuff. I like that better than the rocky stuff. Here's a Gentle Giant bootleg. I don't remember how I got it, but someone made a cover for it, but it did come out with a cover, and it was pointed out to me online what the actual title of this is, but it's either BBC or some kind of radio session recordings in 1975, and really good performances and decent recording quality. If by chance the person who made this bootleg cover sees this, they'll know. I don't know why this is, why someone did this, but both sides of the album have a big scratch at the end of each side. So you can't just you can play it, but you have to watch it or it'll destroy your needle. One can only wonder what the reasoning was for that being done. But 95% of this album plays wonderfully. So, and I love this band, Gentle Giant, who are not Canterbury, but have always, in my mind, fit with that whole. I never called it Canterbury. It was just Soft Machine, Gong, and all this good shit. Caravan, Gentle Giant, Genesis. They all fit together in my mind. Always have. Philip Catherine, jazz guitarist, who has done a lot of work with a lot of different folks. Nairam. Never received the recognition he deserves. Heard a story where he was in recent years, I think it was through Vince, telling a story about meeting Steve Smith of Journey. And Philip Catherine was in the band touring with him, and just, it's like he's like nobody. And a wonderful player. The music business actually just needs to be, outed. The business is not about music and art. The business is about business, and that part of it I'm not happy with. And it's destroyed lives. And it's just like politics. Just my opinion, but just like politics and other forms of power, the incessant need for power, profit, and money has really, as much as good things have come out of it, you look at the whole picture, it's ruined everything, Comes to mind when I think about Philip Catherine and that story that Vince told. Got this recently, I played it again, this is just amazing. Erkin Koray, Electronic Terkuler. Is that electronic songs, I think? This is just fantastic. A lot of folk music played electric. Fantastic. And a few more. I told you I just got this. Cobb. This is fantastic. Clyde Palmer was one of the original members of Incredible String Band. This is way better for my taste than all the Incredible String Band I've ever heard. This is an amazing album. Moishy McStiff and the Tartan Lancers of the Sacred Heart. This is killer English folk psych. Was playing the Chills. I love the Chills from Australia. I love My Leather Jacket and The Great Escape. This is a double A-side single. Both songs are just amazing. Martin Phillips, great songwriter. Another Canterbury related band from Holland, Super Sister. They said it themselves in the Canterbury Tells DVD story, how when they heard Soft Machine, that opened a big door for them musically. And you can hear it all through the music. Robert Jan Stips. Fish Out of Water by Chris Squire, solo album by the bass player from Yes. Better than some Yes albums. This is fantastic. Just a great album. Really. Yes bands know. Almost done here. Then I was talking about Blackfield. Porcupine Tree. Love Porcupine Tree. Steve Wilson, I love him. Didn't play these. I was just showing my Blackfield albums. I've got Blackfield 1 and 2. And Aviv Geffen is the main guy in the band that Steve Wilson works with, so I have to be in the mood for these songs. That's what I'll say. But as a collector, I've got them of Porcupine Tree. Chameleons. I'm almost done with the pile. All right. Chameleons. Stripped down versions of Chameleon songs. It's fantastic. And on a picture disc. I'm not sure how I came across the picture disc. Picture discs really are not meant to be played too much, but I do have the CD, but I just felt like playing the vinyl. Great soulful songs, the Chameleons. Once again, chuffed that I got to play bass for him in a concert when he played here in Omaha many years in the early 2000s. Oliver Hack, techno or no IDM, I don't know what you call it. It's electronic music that's hypnotic. This is so hypnotic I can't play it once. It's a 12-inch single, but I end up playing this 3, 4, 5 times over again. Even not necessarily always once after the other, but through the next couple days, I'll come back to this sound because it's hypnotic and I love it. Oliver Hack. Roberto Cacciapaglia, an Italian composer who has made, to me, one of the greatest space rock albums that many people have never heard. Sonanza. This is fantastic. Space rock with orchestral flourishes as well. It's fantastic. So that's all I can say. It's fantastic. It is. And then I had a neat little. Life is neat. You do so many things you don't even know what's going on. So years ago, I'm in a band called Indrima. Let me show the record. Some of you guys might actually have this album, Indrima, by the band that I'm in, even though we're not active now. But I won't say that Indrima is over because it's not. But anyway, before we were called Indrima, we were called the Family Radio. Me and Nick Backler and Craig D and some other folks. And early on in our existence, we got a gig opening up for this artist, Madeline. Madeline Adams is her name. The Slow Bang. She really impressed me, so I bought her album. I won't just, when I was working, I wouldn't just buy a record just to support the band. I had to like it. She really impressed me. Well, funnily, last year, Nick Fackler got married to Kat, his girl, wonderful woman, and this woman comes up from Georgia who is, along with David Matesiak, who is a good friend. They come up, they're a couple now, and he says, I really want you to meet Madeline, So I meet her, and it's like, it'd been a few years, so I didn't make the connection. She's stunningly beautiful, and deep in the back of my head, I was thinking, where have I seen this woman before? But I never made the connection, and no one ever said anything. Anyway, a couple days or nights ago, I was online, and Dave was posting a notice for an upcoming Madeline show. And then he showed this. I said, that's Madeline. And then to start this big exchange about, I didn't make the connection at the wedding that Madeline is Madeline, And then I posted a selfie I did with Madeline. She didn't even realize that she had already met me. That was kind of cool. And this is a good album. Really confessional about how she needs a relationship. That's what it's about, I don't want to be lonely. That's really what it's about. Okay, folks. It's over 20 minutes. We'll see how long it takes for this to load up. I could talk about CDs. I got Dori Kaimi here. Pulse, which is a project by Yukihiro Takahashi and Steve Jansen. This is a remix CD I was listening to last night. The music goes on. Dori Kaimi. Check him out. I was getting into a Sakamoto mood, so I listened to Esperanto. And this is fantastic. This is also on gold. It's a gold CD. Can you hear the difference in fidelity? You sure in the hell can. Okay, people, let's keep trying to find ways to mend and heal and be more peaceful. Folks that have negativeness and hate and stress in your heart, examine it, folks. Look at try to do something good for yourself so you stop hurting others and help us all make this place better.